Cigarettes burn like effigies to the dying sun. Feeding coins into that jukebox, playing our songs one by one. Oh, friend, why you done left me alone with an empty Dixie cup while she's waking up in her lover's arms? Yeah, I'm stoned enough to think, drunk enough to call, cheap enough to be wasted, full enough to fall. Oh, can I taste what you tasted? Can I know what you know? Cheap enough to be wasted, drunk enough to call. Who's to blame? Yeah, I can still remember that way you smell and taste. Letting go's like trying to outrun the rain. Yeah, it always comes back to the sad, simple fact things don't change. Yeah, I'm stoned enough to think, drunk enough to call, cheap enough to be wasted, yeah, full enough to fall. Oh, can I taste what you tasted? Can I know what you know? Cheap enough to be wasted, drunk enough to call. Oh, Lord, cheap enough to be wasted, drunk enough to call.
I don't know. That song's just about drunk dialing somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Drunk dialing used to be real. I don't know if people still do. They still do it?
No, because
Is there a phone?
No, because there's...
Yes,
Yeah,
drunk
drunk
texting is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me
Hey,
drunk slide.
hey, you
your
telling me
DMs.
there's still people out there leaving messages on an ex's phone, 25 missed calls? Come on now. That still happens. That still
Yeah,
happens.
you're probably right.
But before caller ID is probably easier.
Also, I blocked him,
Yeah.
and I take the
But
piss.
people find a way, you know? I don't know. It's like drunk dialing's still a thing, I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
If you're
But that
blocked, you just borrow.
Oh,
your
I
friend's phone.
just love it. 'Cause
it's
if
like
you tell-
poetry. It's
If
beautiful.
you like tell people now, like, oh, show me taking a picture. Of a certain age, they'll do this.
Yeah.
You know, like a camera. Like we all grew up with disposable cameras and different things like that.
Yeah.
Now they do this.
Yeah.
Just show me taking a picture, and they'll do this.
Phone
It's-
too.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. Phone. It's
Yeah.
this now and not this, right?
Huh.
Or like somebody was like, "What did they mean dial somebody on the phone?" And I was like, you know, like when you dial a phone, they're like, I don't understand. I was like, we used to, you had a rotary dial on
Yeah.
the phone. So you just push the number around, it comes back around, you know? So it's like all those things, like here's a quarter, call someone who cares.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody knows what the fuck
Nah.
that means anymore. They're like, well, why would you need a quarter? And, what's this text?
That's why you just stick to the classics like cheating. Everybody knows what that is.
Drunk enough.
Straightforward.
You're straightforward.
Straightforward vices and sinning, you know?
That song is very poetic, though. I never heard it just like you did it now. It's very
know.
poetic. That was nice.
That was.
It's my like attempt at Gary Stewart in it. And then Kevin turned it into Johnny Bush. When we got in the studio, really. But yeah, I don't know. Those songs, that song came fairly quickly and naturally. You know, some songs take a while. Some songs take a decade or more. You know, and then some songs take 5 minutes. And like, why that is, I don't know.
There's no rhyme or reason.
No,
It's just
I just wish they all took 5 minutes.
Well, if it takes 5 minutes, it's done a little quick.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what they say. You know what they say. You know. 2 minutes in heaven is better than 1 minute in heaven.
I'm gonna start using that.
So, me and a buddy started writing a song where it's like, I want to give away all my song ideas on this one podcast.
It's going to be right out there for everybody to
Oh, that's
steal,
right.
so.
So now I know this is my song idea. We came up with a song idea. It was like, it's not about the time it took, it's about the love we made.
We need to hear that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Horny Tonk song. Right
It
there.
was a little horny.
Yeah.
And Drunken Enough fits perfectly into the Horny Tonk repertoire.
Yeah, I think that's another one of those songs. I love it. Like, people have a perception of your song, like second verse where it's like, even though I know just who's to blame, everybody assumes it's the speaker in the song, right? Like the person telling you. I even though I know who's to blame, I still think of you and I still want to call you when I'm fucked up. That doesn't necessarily mean that they were the person that fucked up.
Right.
Like that feeling can be a very multiple. And
Sure.
So a lot of times I just won't engender the speaker or the person being spoken about because I want somebody to be able to connect to the song without those structures in place. Like for you to be able to put yourself in the position you feel best speaks about you in that song.
I noticed that.
Yeah, I do that a
You
lot.
don't have to be the man or the woman.
In Virginia, maybe there's some, like, I think it was that song that there was that kind of wrinkle to it. I was like, oh, what's going on here? I think that's really cool.
I think with that song too, it's like people always ask me, is that a person or a place?
Right.
And I say yes.
Perfect. Yeah. No, I just, this song, our show started out as let's delve into songwriting and let's ask all these musicians about song. And, I think that that's a really cool place to start a conversation, but everything that comes with it, everything we've been talking about tonight hasn't been that song centric, but it seems to always come back to it, that's the world that you live in. So.
Well, those are just moments taken from real life.
Yeah.
And some people are writing a story that's like more directly about them, but every song is about me that I write, in some level, because it comes from my own experience or my own perspective, right? That's you can't have, maybe this is a weird thing to say, but I don't really believe in like originality in the way we talk about it. I believe in uniqueness of perspective, like that's what originality is. Yeah. It's like how unique and different you're looking at that same object. Like you're looking at it from a different position. When we talk about an accident on a street corner, if you have 3 people standing there, they'll describe it different.
Yeah.
Or if you tell people to describe that Modelo bottle right there, right? That one. You're going to describe it different. You're going to focus on different things about that bottle. We might still get the image of the bottle from what you're saying, but like how you say it, how you put it together, how you're viewing that thing is different. And so, yeah.
That's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it art. Like, I can see that thing all day long, but I want to know now, what do you see? I want to know what you see. That's...
Dinner.
Liquid courage. No, I think that's what it is like finding your own perspective and then using your tools, which are just built over time, mainly from emulation to begin with, and
a lot of
borrowing,
people,
and then at some point those become your tools.
From an emulation standpoint, that's a kind of a cool place to go to. Like, I mean, what did you listen to coming up? What were the things that attracted you that made you think, you know what, I want to do that?
I don't know. I always loved it. Our lives revolved around music. Yeah. You grew up in a Pentecostal church.
Yeah, I was going to say
they got you singing in choirs from the time you can toddle around, And so you always grow up singing. You always grow up singing together as a family too, So I think music just becomes a part of your existence. Mm-hmm. But I think that expression, which is something I always wanted to do. So, and then couldn't quit. It's like, and sucked at for a long time. I think that process of learning through those things, getting better, improving. I know that one thing was funny is like coming back to playing again, people are like, wow, you've really improved, which also made me go like, well, what do you mean by that?
What did it sound like before?
Yeah. Oh, you seem really amazed by that, so I'm starting to feel bad about myself. But like that. I think that's what you want to hear when somebody's had a break from you for a while, hasn't seen what you've done, or hasn't listened to what you've done, or hasn't been a part of the progression. You know, when it's every day, your beard don't look like much. You know.
Yeah.
But if you're clean shaven and then somebody sees you 6 months later,
Right.
it's drastic, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's that same thing with your art. It's just like the evolution from day to day is very not visible sometimes.
Right.
Because it's a year's process, you know, decades. And then you get the reaction from somebody you're close to and you're like, oh, wow, I have progressed. I have improved. And I have, you know, but also you develop your own sense of who you are and how you do things. I think voice development's a big one.
Yeah, it
If
is.
you listen to early records of a lot of artists, or like, for example, George Jones.
Yeah.
Listen to early George Jones. It's not just, it's there. Like when you hear George Jones and when you think of George Jones singing, it's there, but it's not like it was as his career progressed.
Right.
Or any of those guys. They all became influenced by the people around them too. Like you wouldn't have Johnny Paycheck really if you didn't have George Jones. And a lot of what Johnny Paycheck does, sure, that's Johnny Paycheck or Donnie Young or whatever he was going under at the time. But, you know, like that influence from George Jones or George Jones' influence from like Ernest Tubb and Hank Williams or Ernest Tubb's influence from Jimmy Rogers, you know, and that on down the line, the amalgamation of all that talent that's preceded you, all the traditions and stuff. I think that's important to preserve those things.
Yeah.
And you take a piece of those people with you, you know, like you can't hear Gary Stewart and not hear Jerry Lee Lewis. I can't,
Yeah.
you know, like, especially if you listen to like his early album, it's Jerry Lee Lewis. He wants to be Jerry Lee Lewis and it shows, you know, and he does a pretty good Jerry Lee Lewis impression, but then his big album, the next one he came out with in 75, Out of Hand, that's Gary Stewart. And like you hear it in the first one, it's there. He's unique. He's very unique to who he is. And he's already in his late 20s, I think, by the time that first album came out. He's in his early 30s when Out of Hand comes out. And so I think that's another thing is we see artists progress so much from a younger stage now than we used to because it costs a lot of money to record.
Yeah.
Right.
Who wants to take and put all that money behind some like 20-year-old
Little
kid?
nobody.
Right? And now a 20-year-old kid can buy a couple of things online and create stuff for himself. You might end up with weird anomalies like Nas, you know, recording that Illmatic all in his own house when he's like 17, 18 years old.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But then again, like not everybody can be Hunter S. Thompson and write the Rum Diaries when they're 21. Some of us need some age and experience to actually have perspective.
Right.
So yeah, I think that perspective is the big thing. And that comes through garnering experience and then just being genuine with making art for you first.
Yeah.
You know?
That-
Honest.
100%.
Yeah. It's so cool that this turned into this. Like, I mean, it's just like, you know, again, it's a show where we talk about songs somewhat, but, you know, really what we're talking about is human expression, you know, your experience, everything that you're putting out into the world for somebody else to take and make it part of their experience. It's just a really cool thing and an honor to get to, you know, chop it up with people like you that are doing it.
Totally.
Yeah. We appreciate you coming and talking about it all. I want to do it again. I want to keep doing it, but I'm getting the
Well, go every Tuesday. You can get horny, Jesse.
every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Every
We do it every Tuesday.
I'm going
Chris
to get
can
on
make you horny.
every Tuesday,
And the Western cosplay.
and I want all of Houston to come get horny every Tuesday.
They should.
They should, right?
Mhm.
Where at?
At Shoeshine Charlie's Big Top Lounge.
On Main Street in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
All right, y'all heard it from the man himself.
King of Nothing out next year.
Out next year.
All right, Christopher, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. It's nice hanging out with y'all.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, that's our show for this week. Bonner Voices Show. We'll see you guys next week.